Hmm? Oh, hello everyone. Sorry, I'm not sure what I've got for you today, actually. You see, I'm off on holiday. Hold on, I'll just ask if you can come along as well. That'll be all right, won't it, Parker?
Hey, manners.
Lord Parker,
If you don't mind.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Lord Parker. Here's Thunderbirds.
Oh, audible load of old rubbish.
So, welcome back to Thunderbirds. We're starting with some leftover music from Supercar as we rejoin the second season for Lord Parker's Holiday. I actually noticed while looking at my notes earlier, the second season of Thunderbirds, we seem to be doing this in reverse order. We started with Give or Take a Million, and now, after that it was Ricochet, and now we're on Lord Parker's Holiday. So, it'd be interesting to see if we keep going backwards through the 6 season 2 episodes. That's an odd thing. Anyway, we're opening with this lovely shot of the little village of Monte Bianco. Here's the reflector station, and inside we have TARDIS console. 6-sided thing with a central column. If not a definite nod to Doctor Who, then an amazing coincidence. And inside, 2 science gentlemen who, I have to admit, I don't remember their names. But
it is Mitchell the Sun.
Mitchell, there we go.
Never cease to wonder at its enormous energy.
With the solar generator, Professor, you have captured a little of that energy.
Yes, Professor and Mitchell.
This is only the first stage. Tonight we will generate electricity for one small town. And if this is successful, we will supply the whole valley. And then, who knows, perhaps the whole world.
Shall I say nothing can go wrong, or shall I leave that to you, Professor? Yeah, this is the Professor puppet from... I think this is the Professor Borinder puppet from Perils of Penelope. Looks like he's even wearing the same clothes.
Center on the heat exchange.
Yes, they've set up a solar dish to collect the energy from the sun to power the town.
Centered.
Lining it up on the sun itself. I like that shot of the very end of the, I don't know what you'd call it, the solar collector. It kind of looks like a sort of film camera or film light. Anyway, we're now over to Creighton Ward Manor.
Will this be all, milady?
Yes, I think so. There are 1 or 2 other knickknacks, but I'll bring those down myself. I just hope I don't forget.
Travelling light this time, only 4 cases.
Yes, milady.
Now, I want you to consider the next few days as a holiday for you as much as for me.
It's unusual for Penelope. I think in The Imposters we saw a whole mountain of cases that she wanted to take with her.
Very good, milady.
Maybe she's learnt from her experiences with Jeremiah Tuttle, but I doubt it. And of course it would rain before they go off on holiday.
Oh dear, it's raining again. But we must make a start. Where are you, Parker?
Right here, milady.
Parker?
Ah, he's looking very ready for his holiday.
Took me at my word. I hope the inclement weather doesn't spoil your outfit.
Oh, I understand the sun always shines in Monte Bianco.
And it's a nice little town they've created here, despite the fact that really we only see the hotel set.
Visitors, all they bring is more work.
Manned by these 2 lovely characters.
Tomorrow our little town will be famous. The first in the world to be lit by electricity from a solar station.
This is the long-suffering, I don't know, what do you call, what would you call Bruno? I was going to say butler, but he's not a butler. You don't get butlers in a hotel.
It is against nature.
But he's got a catchphrase.
It will be a great disaster.
Yay.
What did you say?
The sun will take its revenge. It will be a great disaster.
Idiot! Get back to work.
Oh, it's Signor Fancini is the chap he's working for, played by Jeremy Wilkin, and Bruno is played by Charles Tingwell.
Wrong.
His first appearance in the Thunderbirds TV series, I believe. He's also playing Mitchell. You wouldn't necessarily know that that's him playing Bruno at first. But Bruno's a lovely character, as we'll come to discover through this episode.
What's the temperature?
Yes, sir.
Keep it below 1000 degrees absolute.
And as TARDIS consoles go, this one that they've got at the solar station is actually pretty darn well designed. I'm not sure you could get away with the rest of the room as a TARDIS interior, but
Cyclonic generators do not...
this is a very nice control console set.
Visitors tonight.
It's almost a shame, really, that it's not going to be produced in that... isn't there a part work at the moment? TARDIS consoles part work. Be nice to see it made in there. Anyway,
Very good.
we're not going to have that. We have Penelope and Parker heading off on holiday. What stock Barry Gray music is it? Ah, there we go.
There's a great deal of interference.
Blues Pacifica.
The interference seems to be general. It's probably the mountains. We're very near them now.
And I can still remember actually the first time I saw this episode, as I seem to be able to remember first sights of episodes. I remember going around a friend's house actually. This is a friend I think I've mentioned on here before who used to find the explosion of the terrorfish in Stingray really funny, you know, when their mouths are flapping open and closed once they've been hit. He had a VHS tape of this and Give or Take a Million. I believe it was volume 16 on the old VHS collection from Channel 5 or Polygram it might even have been then. And I just remember, because Thunderbirds was on TV at the time, airing on the BBC, the sheer... It almost blew my mind, the idea that you can watch episodes out of order. You don't have to wait for the BBC to show them. You could go out and buy them now.
But I sure wish I...
Probably one of my first inklings that that was the thing you could do.
Problem of storing electricity on a commercial scale.
Right. The cyclonic battery is a real step forward.
Jeff and Brains are having a hearty cup of tea.
Then use this to generate power.
The idea's old enough.
Catching us up on the technical background of the solar reflector.
Wish I was there to see it.
Brains is very nearly tipping his tea out of his cup. But will he get his wish to come and see the solar reflector? You know, this is Thunderbirds, and this is a highly experimental piece of technology. I'm sure he'll get to experience it up close before too long.
The output voltage high enough?
Yes, sir. We can maintain 150,000 kilowatts for about 20 hours.
Good. Are the cyclonic regulators checked?
Yes, Professor. We're ready to switch on as soon as it's dark.
What about the Helmic regulator? And those Zyton crystals? I'm sorry, I love the TARDIS. I love the TARDIS console. I won't mention any more about it. Unless I do. Stormy weather as Fab One arrives at the hotel in Monte Bianco.
Oh, Signorina Penelope, I feel ashamed to welcome you to this.
And again, as I mentioned last week with the Lighthouse Dwellers, puppets being rained on.
The English are always prepared for rain.
Oh, dear. Oh, the state of them both. Parker just standing there like a complete drip, really.
Get their bags inside.
Oh.
Tonight we celebrate.
Yeah, Bruno is Signor Fancini's Parker equivalent. So Parker doesn't mind bossing him around because he's on holiday, as Penny said.
You'd better change, Senor, before you flood the hotel.
Oh, I say, very fancy.
You look very fine, Senor, but where is Signorina Penelope? Ah, here she is.
Yes, this hotel apparently has all sorts of costumes on hand. Penelope's done herself up as... Is this meant to be Marie Antoinette? Or somebody of that era? And the puppet's giving it a go of walking down the stairs, but the dress is possibly slightly too big to make it look as convincing as it might. But she does look very nice.
Hey, Parker, you look quite dashing.
Oh, thank you, milady. That costume of yours is a bit of a knockout.
Why, thank you, Parker. I'll take that as a most gracious compliment.
Signori, may I have your attention? I am proud to welcome you to Monte Bianco for this great event.
Tonight, our town will become the first to be lit by power generated direct from the sun.
I find it...
Yes, there's another crowd scene, lots of people in this hotel, and again, it's one where you can see they have a limited number of puppeteers. Some puppets just aren't moving. But we're counting down the seconds to the switch over to the energy from the solar generator that's going to power the town tonight. Despite this very bad storm, I'm sure the storm will pass very soon, though.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Activate.
And that's it. The whole town has got power.
Bravo! Magnifico!
Salute.
Oh, yes, good health, milady.
And this is obviously in this period of the show where Penelope and Parker do have increasingly a lot of screen time to themselves at the expense of other members of International Rescue. I think I've said before that I'm not mad keen on that.
It's really building up.
partly because I'm not a mad fan of the whole Penelope spy thing, but since that part of it isn't much of an element with this episode, I find myself enjoying this one quite a bit.
Holmes, they can get pretty violent.
Oh, yeah. I think also because, as I said, it's that sheer novelty of I saw this before it was shown on TV, at least in the 90s, so it's kind of like, haha, this was one I saw before many other people. Anyway, oh, Parker's having fun with his spag bowl.
Wind it around the fork, Parker.
That is what it is, isn't it? I would have thought he'd be
You'll soon master it.
he'd be familiar with it, or was that not a huge thing in England of the 60s? I must admit, I'm not. I'm an expert on many things, but I'm not an expert on noodly foods.
Musica!
Yay! Oh, over in the corner, the Cas Carnaby 5 playing the musica. Although it's obviously it's just stock footage. They're not really there, but it's nice to think that they are.
It will be a great disaster.
Of course, they don't recognise Penelope and Parker. Uh-oh.
The tower's been hit.
Let's hope the conductor can take it.
Well, lightning rarely strikes twice. I think they'll be okay. Oh, what do you know? Lightning struck twice.
Check the primary circuits.
It's not going to strike for a third time, surely. I'm also not clear if this
The reflector is attracting the lightning like a magnet.
solar station is directly beneath the reflector tower. I suppose it must be because the professor gets up there very quickly, but you wouldn't want this thing collapsing on top of you. Oh!
I think the tower's starting to crack.
Not that such a thing's going to happen, of course. Oh, that's it. Professor's going out to take a look.
Cut the power.
But Professor...
I said cut the power.
Oh, that's it. Oh, town's gone out.
Signore, please, be calm. We will light the candles.
So they've lit the candles.
Something must be wrong.
Is it serious, milady?
I don't know, Parker.
Fourth lightning strike on the tower. Or is that third? I've not been keeping count.
Can't take much more of this. The tower will collapse.
This is one of those I don't think they really thought this through Thunderbirds inventions. Which is a shame because it's a really nice idea. It's a really nice, especially for this show, which is so often, stuffing a nuclear reactors into anything. Fueled fifth lightning strike there. Fueled guzzling monstrosities like the crab logger and such. This is a nice eco-friendly sixth lightning strike. My goodness, how unlucky is this thing?
Great disaster.
Yeah, and the rest. Yeah, nice eco-friendly bit of Thunderbirds tech. Too bad it, we're what, 20 minutes in, and that's it. It's down. Just missing the station, and I love the sound effects on this thing crashing down the mountainside. Rolling all the way down the cliff and wedging itself at the bottom. Oh. Here's an odd moment, though.
The reflector's been smashed.
How is Penelope the only one in the hotel to notice that? Why did she happen to be looking in its direction at the in the first place anyway? Oh, well, it was a good try. It was a good idea. Luckily, the professor's escaped with
What happened to the deflector?
a rather nasty cut on his forehead there.
I'll help you inside, sir.
Again, these poor puppets getting absolutely soaked.
The storm. She is passing.
Ah, and here comes the moon. Oh, and of course the reflector has landed. Wouldn't you know it, it's landed at just the right angle to reflect the moonlight down onto the town. Again, this is, as well as being a nice idea, it's a lovely, rather ingenious setup for a Thunderbirds episode.
Giant mirror.
It's reflecting the moonlight down onto the town.
First, the whole environmentally friendly aspect of it, and then secondly, okay, there's been this accident, but actually
Tonight she is very warm. The party will begin again.
we can have this moonlight party. That's fine. And nobody except Penelope is thinking, maybe once the moon goes down and the sun comes up, we could be in a bit of trouble by here.
Psst, signorina. Io solo vengo domani, sarò un disastro.
What are you doing here, Bruno? Get back to work.
Again, all the puppets in the background are absolutely rock stiff.
Soft in the air.
There's a guy behind Penelope I think might be dead. His eyes aren't even moving.
What did he say, milady?
But then you're not supposed to be looking at the background characters, even though I'm sure many of us do. I like keeping an eye on the background characters and seeing what they're doing.
Contact Jeff. Find the old man and make sure he talks to no one. And make sure no one leaves. We may need every pair of hands we can get. International rescue. Come in, please.
Only Penelope could go on holiday and require the services of international rescue. But again, it's building up to a moment where...
Storm in the mountains.
Once again, we get to see her driving Fab 1, which always gives us flashbacks to the driving scene in Vault of Death. And the assumption that either she had lessons since then, or that whole thing was a massive deception on her part to scare the living daylights out of Parker. This is also, I believe, the first time we see Fab 1 go on water in the television series. We see it in water in the first film, Thunderbirds Are Go, and this jetty she's driving off of here, very slowly, is the same one she drives off in the film. Or Fab 1 drives off in the film, I should say. It's even got that number 3 right next to it, where we saw various Stingray publicity photos taken over the years as well, I believe. And this is a lovely image of Fab 1 just cruising over the surface of the water. And of course, they happen past a yacht. And of course, there's the drunk.
I've heard of pink elephants, but a pink Rolls Royce out at sea, driven by Marie Antoinette, is ridiculous.
I also recognise the yacht. I wonder if it might be Fab 2. Is that who Parker lost it to? That guy?
This should be far enough.
Seeing Fab 1 on the surface of the water like this, I often wonder if it had underwater capabilities, if it might have been like a forerunner of the Lotus Esprit. That would have been quite fun. Because obviously we know from Stingray the AP Films model crew could do that sort of thing in their sleep.
To need you, Jeff, and quickly.
Go on, Penny.
But I'm playing chess with brains.
The reflector from the solar station crashed down the mountain during a storm.
Gee, that thing must weigh 400 tons.
The reflector jammed about halfway down the mountainside, but at such an angle that tomorrow the sun will be concentrated down onto the town.
I get the picture. It'll be like holding a giant burning glass over the town.
As the sun moves, it'll sweep across Monte Bianco, burning everything in its path.
Exactly, Jeff. And hurry. You'll be racing against the sun.
Right, Penny, we're on our way.
Thunderbird 1 will be underway in 30 seconds.
Boys?
Thunderbird 2 will be right behind him. International rescue from Thunderbird 1. Changing to horizontal flight.
So, Thunderbird 1 is on the way, and is this the episode where we go to an advert break after Thunderbird 1 launches, and we come back and Thunderbird 2 is still launching? Let's find out. My goodness, it is! Oh, it worries me that I can remember details like that. It really worries me. It's also odd that they would split this over the advert break like that. Normally it's like, right, we're off, we're on our way, ba 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 ba, and then we go to the advert break. This is kind of I don't want to say anticlimactic because everybody obviously likes to see Thunderbird 2 launching, but it's like, you know, we did the launching scene. That's done.
You look kind of worried, Jeff. What's wrong?
I don't know, Mother. I've just got a feeling about this assignment.
Yeah, and here's an odd angle to this story. Jeff's got a feeling. He's just got a feeling. He can't put it into words. He's got a feeling. I suppose it's there to make this feel a bit different, a bit ominous, to add some weight to something that happens later on. But it really need not be there. It doesn't really add all that much. Come on, Thunderbird 2, get going. Thank you. Yep, this is Virgil, Allen and Brains. Very slowly off after Scott.
International rescue are on their way, Parker.
I don't quite follow, milady. Who is in danger?
Why, this hotel. The whole town.
Oh, poor old Parker.
Be burnt to a cinder, unless we can move the reflector before the sun comes out tomorrow.
Oh, of course. The sun. Now I understand.
I'm
Yeah,
going
someone's had a lot to drink tonight.
solar station.
Very good, milady.
Now, I'm relying on you, Parker, to keep the guests in the hotel.
It's strange that nobody else considers that in the hotel. And this is fun as well, leaving Parker to sort everybody out in the hotel.
Now, look here. Tomorrow morning, we could be in trouble. Savvy?
It will be a great disaster.
Yeah, all right.
If the guests thought they were in danger, they would panic to leave.
Exactly. That's why tomorrow morning, we must keep them occupied.
I love this as well, with Parker being left in charge.
Mind off things. Get them to play a little game.
Because although he's an international rescue agent, he's very often just the chauffeur. It's nice to see him take charge like this.
I'm all right, my dear.
He was very lucky.
I'm sorry we meet again under such tragic circumstances.
We won't go into the backstory of our previous meeting, though.
All three. I've done some calculations.
It's also nice to throw Parker together with a similar character who's of a completely different nationality, to the point where they almost don't understand each other. They just barely have communication. They're a very nice duo, Parker and Bruno. And of course, Bruno did return many years later. I believe there's a fan film with Parker voiced by David Graham, and he gets a call from Bruno voiced by Charles Tingwell. I've only seen bits of that. I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
As the sun sets here, on the other side of the world, it'll rise on sleeping Monte Bianco.
And of course, the streets of Monte Bianco are deserted. That must have been a really good party last night.
Thunderbird 1 to Thunderbird 2. ETA, Monte Bianco, 5:49 local time.
FAB, Scott. We're about 20 minutes behind you. Have you been able to contact the solar station?
I'd sure like to get an idea of the problem.
I can use the radio camera.
I'll send you a few shots as soon as I can.
FAB.
Thunderbird 1 was approaching Monte Bianco there. We saw a side-on shot of it. Thunderbird 1 is flying in blue daylight, and then we cut to Thunderbird 2 and they're flying along stormy clouds. They must be a very long way behind them.
The IF stage is gone. The oscillators are burnt out. The lightning's ruined the radio.
Is there anything we can do other
The
than...
lightning's ruined everything except that wonderful TARDIS console.
Well, there's no point in me staying here. Now, Mitchell, we'd better get the professor to hospital. He needs treatment. I called International Rescue before I left the hotel. They'll take care of everything.
And that is it for the Professor and Mitchell now, I think. Meanwhile, Parker and Bruno have set up... Well, they've set up a bingo hall. Downstairs, everyone is presumably sleeping off the night before. Where did they find the time to make all the score sheets and the massive Lord Parker's bingo sign? I love it. Oh. He's so creative when left to his own devices. I mean, professionally printed score sheets, come on.
Well, Bruno, that seems adequate. Go wake 'em.
Wake them up, senor? They didn't get to bed till 3.
We've got to get...
Oh, 3. Sorry, this talk of going to bed is making me sleepy. I'm not sure what that's about. I'm naturally quite sleepy if you've never met me.
Start with the manager. I'll need him to assist me.
Oh, si, senor.
Oh, poor old Bruno has to go and wake everybody up. Oh, but the clock in the manager's room says it's 5 to 6 now.
It is time to get up.
What does he want?
Lord Parker wants you downstairs.
Oh. It is 6 o'clock, Bruno. Go away, you stupido.
That clock is advancing in real time as well, which is quite sweet. Ah, the miracles of technology. They're getting paper printout of the photos.
Thanks, Scott.
Instantaneously beamed to Thunderbird 2.
It sure looks a tricky setup.
Any ideas, Brains?
Well, we may be able to tilt the reflector up so that it faces skywards.
You said it weighs 400 tons, Brains.
I know. It won't be easy, but it's our only chance.
Whatever happened to the old remote control camera Thunderbird 1 had. That would seem to be useful in times like this. They don't use that after... Well, they only use it a couple of times, actually, don't they? Anyway, Parker's keeping everything organised at the hotel.
Your lordship, please excuse me. I did not realize.
And I love how instantly fawning the manager is here.
Back here, as
It's another lovely Jeremy Wilkin character.
ready to join us in our little game.
Si, senor. When they heard you were the English lord, they were most willing.
Yeah, I thought they'd fall. Let you join in.
Oh, it's lovely as well that Parker and Bruno are only just managing to pull this off.
Base to Thunderbird 2. Just about...
Like, literally, if anybody thinks about it, it's all going to fall apart, but everyone's too awed of Lord Parker to do anything about it.
Be careful. I've got a feeling about this one.
I will, Father.
There it is.
Ah, thanks, Alan.
There's the sun. We'll have to work fast. Assuming...
I propose we blow up the sun, Virgil. Now, Brains, we've talked about this. But I've got my sun-destroying machine already.
You'll have to lower me down to get a real close look.
It's not your job, Brains. I'll go.
I need to see it at close quarters.
I'll radio a full description.
It's not the same.
Stop arguing, you two. Every minute counts. All right, Brains, it's your assignment, but don't take any chances.
Gee, thanks, Virgil.
And of course, this scenario of a solar reflector stuck on the side of a mountain, I think they use this in the first or second episode of the Thunderbirds Are Go CGI series from 2015. I say first or second because it was a two-parter that opened that series, wasn't it? I saw that first two-parter and it didn't inspire me to go back to any more. But I was surprised that they just pulled a whole story idea from the original series and then they were like done with it within about 5 minutes, possibly less. Possibly this isn't a scenario that requires a full 50 minutes to resolve, but I think the fact that you have the stuff going on in the hotel with Lord Parker really helps it. Whereas I remember the CGI equivalent being a bit sort of, here's another bunch of CGI people running around going, ah. But maybe the show got better. As I said, I never saw any more after that.
Darn this harness, I can't move.
Brains is uncomfortable.
Are you okay, Brains? Yeah, I'm fine. I just took off the harness. It was so clumsy.
I said don't take chances, Brains.
Don't worry. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, Brains is a reckless disregard for danger this week. Isn't entirely consistent with his character, and it's a long way down.
Hurry it up, Brains. Time's running out.
Okay, I'm going to climb up to the rim.
Be careful, Brains.
I do like as well several moments where Brains is almost looks like he's going to fall to his death, and then we cut back to the goings on in the hotel. Here he is climbing up the side of the reflector, this just sheer metal surface, and then he slips.
Oh, John. Honest Lord Parker doesn't pay out until he's checked your card.
How's Parker paying for these bingo wins, by the way? Is he did he crack open the safe, or has he got Penelope's credit card?
Crap.
I'm sure it's got to be the former. I doubt she would let him have any access to her money, no matter how much she trusts him. Anyway.
Oh, there, Brains.
You don't have to tell me twice. It's getting mighty hot inside this suit.
Brains has got Thunderbird 2's electromagnet thingy clamped onto the solar reflector, and he's still complaining about this suit. And I like it's the same kind of protective fire suit that we've seen several times before. I think usually when people are driving the Firefly. Well, I say people, that's normally Virgil, isn't it? I also wonder with this...
Okay, Alan. Brains is clear.
If moving the thing is the only option available, I get that it's probably the most practical, but could they not... I don't know, could they not destroy the generator part of it? What if they just shot it?
It's not moving.
And Thunderbird 2 has missiles. Or they could just throw a great big sheet over it. This is one of the options that Actually, I think this is probably why I'm not a member of International Rescue. I come up with silly ideas.
It's still not shifting, Virgil.
I'm going all the way. Full thrust.
Full boost vertical. Come on, Thunderbird 2.
I located the trouble. The gear's jammed. It'll take me a couple of minutes to cut through.
I don't think we've got a couple of minutes, Brains. The hotel's starting to smoke.
Maybe just a big blanket throw over the thing.
Smoke? Why didn't I think of that before? Is Scott still around, Virgil?
Why, yes, he is.
I love that. Yeah, Scott's just gone radio silent since he arrived. Everyone had almost forgotten he was there.
Bingo!
Well done, lady. Now we're going like a house on fire. What am I saying?
So Thunderbird 1 is pumping out black smoke to blot out the sun. It's not really working. The hotel is still smouldering, but it's given Brains time to... what was it he said was stuck? I don't know, but he's cutting through it now. It's not the most thrilling of climaxes to a Thunderbirds episode, as much as I'm enjoying this. I think because probably nobody is actually directly in danger. I mean, we know the town will go up in flames if International Rescue don't do this. But because we don't have, like, a person sort of going, help, oh, we've got to get to them in time, oh, no. It's like, you know, welding and cutting and trying to shift the thing.
Please, Scott.
Again, we're very light on dramatic music, in that we don't have any.
Okay, boys. Take her up.
So Brains is complaining about the suit, but well, it looks like he's clear. Thunderbird 2 is going to start lifting again. Oh, now we have music. Okay, I suppose it's justified here. Even if this is a very slow-moving procedure.
I think it's beginning to move.
And Brains doesn't want to get too far away, even though this is a thing that weighs so many thousands of tons. He's still standing right next to it. Oh, that's it. They've got the reflector onto its back, which is something.
That should do it.
Uh-oh. There goes Brains.
Brains! Virgil, he's fallen!
And although we know Brains hasn't really fallen, it is one of those moments where you think, as a kid, oh no, maybe he might have done, and the fact that you see the rocks so heavily pounding on that suit, and then, yep, the reflector's fallen, coming all the way down the mountain, and if Brains wasn't dead before, he is now. It's such a... Oh, then you get that last shot of the hand of the suit sticking out of the rubble.
There's been an accident. Brains has fallen.
Can you assist?
Sure, Virgil. I'll go down and see what I can do.
And although it is a nice moment of temporary drama and suspense, you really believe that Brains is dead.
He's gonna sit here?
Steady, Alan.
At least the characters do.
Doing everything possible.
I saw him fall. He must have been killed.
It does make Brains look a bit of a jerk for not radioing in instantly.
Don't worry, boys. I'm fine. It was only the suit. I took it off. It was so awkward.
Relief. We thought... Now listen, Brains. You...
So all that grumbling about the suit actually had a point.
Yes, sir.
Maybe that's point in inverted commas. Much like Jeff's I had a feeling about this one thing.
Well, I don't mind telling you I'm glad this one's over. I had a feeling something might go wrong.
Don't worry, Mr. Tracy. We handled the situation.
Yes, Father. We'll be home for breakfast.
Breakfast? It's 2 a.m. here. I'm going to bed.
Oh, Jeff's wearing another snazzy dressing gown.
Monte Bianco? Sometimes even I get confused.
Well, Lord Parker, I think you owe me an explanation.
Well, I thought the guests would be more inclined to take orders from an English lord, as it were. I anticipated you would not mind.
All right, Parker. In the circumstances, we'll forget it. But tell me, what game so engrossed them that they didn't notice the danger?
A game very popular in my youth, as I remember. Bingo.
Bingo? You'll have to instruct me sometime.
This is lovely. I just wish we could have had that moment that must have happened, but we don't see it, where Penelope walks in and sees Parker at the head of the room leading the bingo game.
I anticipated you again, my lady.
But this is a nice ending, if a bit strange.
Bingo!
Yeah, he's already changed to go swimming, but he was covering himself from Penelope for some reason. And that was Lord Parker's Holiday, which I've always had a lot of time for. As I said, I'm not a huge Penelope fan, so it's nice that we get an episode where, although she and Parker are the focus, the whole spy thing isn't played up too much. And it's also really nice to see Parker take charge for a bit, thrown together with an equally put upon character, poor old Bruno. Lovely character from Charles Tingwell there. Teleplay by Tony Barwick. Yes, Tony Barwick is one who can, as well as being very silly in later shows, he's one that could think out of the box quite well. So the whole solar reflector thing, the environmentally friendly, for once, Thunderbirds device. Looking at the end credits here is the Fire Flash, who's definitely not an environmentally friendly thing. That was a really nice angle. The final resolution is not the most exciting, but it's certainly a really nice setup for a bit of Thunderbirds action. So although this isn't one of my favourites, it's certainly a very strong episode with some lovely little character moments for poor old Parker. What more can you say but bingo?